John, I think we're going to take it to you to talk about this cart. I'm really excited to actually see it in person this week, but at least now I'll settle for virtual. So it's all yours, floor.
All right. Let me just take the spotlight off you, and I'll leave it on you. The cart is a, I talk. The cart allows remote doing Zoom remotely, and we've been fooling around with it for months. We were going to do the Mid-Atlantic with demos, and then the Mid-Atlantic said we can't do demos, so we're going to do the Mid-Atlantic without demos. And we carried on with the cart development. So I've got a little 5-minute video that I made in July at our club picnic, which was the first outing of this. And then I've got some slides that show what it's evolved to, including some diagrams. The point here is to have a multi-camera setup that is totally portable and totally stable. And we're using it for this Mid-Atlantic thing, but it could be very well at least the germ of what you could use for a club setup and breakdown, because you can put this in a car, you can set it up in 20 minutes. It just simplifies a whole lot of things because all the wires are already there. So anyway, I'm going to show you the little movie right now. This spring, I talked myself into figuring out some way to enhance our September Mid-Atlantic Woodturning Symposium here in Lancaster with some kind of Zoom presence. I was going to need some kind of a cart for the gear to be able to move around to the rooms as needed, but look at what I find on Amazon, $400. I'm not doing that. And then I spotted this invalid travel chair at a yard sale for $50. The seat and the arms are almost level, and the wheels are made to go over almost anything. So down in the workshop, I made a level platform that fits over the arms, and once it's on there, it doesn't easily come off. And then I built a box on the platform and found a plastic drawer that fits very neatly onto the seat to hold the gear. So once I got it figured out, I optimized the gear to a box of gizmos and another box of coiled wires, packed it all into the drawer with just enough extra stuff to cover emergencies. So here's the 17-inch portable monitor facing front, along with the operator's laptop facing the other way, and below them you can see the Anker 521 power battery box. So I color-coded all the gizmos and both ends of all the wires to make setup easy and fast. It takes about 15 minutes from car to meeting room. This $5 set of plastic wire color tabs worked pretty good. You can cut them to the size you need, and they don't seem to come off very easily. So here's the USB port replicator that this laptop needs, connected to the speakerphone that serves for both microphone and speaker, and also to the HDMI to USB capture card that serves the camcorder. The Vixia camcorder mounted on a mast clamped to the cart gives me a high overhead view of all of the activity in the room. The visitor can talk into the iPad screen, which brings him into the Zoom array on the monitor on the cart. And here's the whole thing set up and ready to roll. Mobile Zoom cart field test number 1. Zoom video by John Kelsey. So I went over to the town park to assess the cell phone signal. The pavilion has a line of sight to a water tower that's just festooned with antenna, so I decided I would try to do the Zoom picnic using my cell phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. You're the first Zoomist in here. The rest of us are standing around here trying to keep this Wi-Fi hotspot working.
Your audio keeps going in and out. I hear you and then you break out.
Fortunately, it stabilized after a while. And the 6 in all Zoomists who logged in were able to see whatever I was showing as the main Zoom feed. The other experiments on the video include multiple cameras, and as you'll see, I got it wrong a lot of the time. We used a speakerphone on the mobile cart, which did not work all that well because there were a lot of loud conversations going on around the room, and you couldn't filter them out. I needed a shotgun mic. And we need to put some attention on getting some better technology for getting control of camera shake, as well as more practice. See, so here they all are, all making food. Is there cake to die for over there?
Cake is to die for over here.
How many hot dogs are we cooking?
One pack of 16, and there's still some left, so.
How you doing?
Good.
So you got a truckload of wood there, Doc.
Yeah.
And I hope we go home with less than what I brought.
So, Matt, how many people do you think we have here today?
I'd say we're close to 24, 2 dozen or so.
2 dozen or so?
That's my guess.
Hello. Welcome to our picnic. I'm so glad everyone could come. The weather held out for us. It's really great.
Hey, that's a good one.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's a good one.
The winner is
Oh, yeah.
Barry?
Barry Price with a 132 inches. We were throwing things. It seemed like Chuck was in order. And since this is sort of a jamboree, it seemed a jam Chuck was in order. I need the jam Chuck trophy.
Oh, boy.
Not sponsored by Smuckers, but we could.
So what you just saw doesn't really look any different from a regular phone cam video maybe posted to Facebook. But the difference is that this was a live Zoom broadcast with members on Zoom conversing easily and freely with attendees in the picnic pavilion, as you'll see in the next segment.
Yeah.
That's the winner.
Is that a regulation one?
Diameter and shape of what is called a driver on disc golf.
Whoa.
Same weight as the driver also.
Barry made it big. Mass produce these.
Yeah, right.
Same thing every time.
This doesn't have a motor in it, does it?
No.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be dark out.
Yeah, the one went up and came back. Like a boomerang.
Yeah.
Great picnic. We were there.
Yeah, we're going to check this out now. I think I'm 7:30 packing up the food, so I'm going to pack up the Zoom too. Well, thank you for participating in the experiment. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys.
What, do you got a microwave in the bottom?
But make sure he wasn't sitting on it and holding the laptop, you know.
That's the hardest part.
Here. Yeah, little.
Okay, that's the little video. Want to do questions first, or you want me to go to the slides? I got a few slides for where it went from there. Are we still with it?
Why don't you do your couple of slides and we'll come back for questions.
All right. I'm going to share screen again. Okay, this is the diagram. And I've taken to sorting diagrams out into inputs, outputs, video in and audio in and all and like that. And I'm going to break it down a little bit, but this diagram is accurate to how the card is now. And this is how the card looks now, draped in a piece of blue fabric I got from the fabric store. The monitor stayed the same. I'm using an iPhone here. This is a light, an LED light, and the same Vixia camcorder, and I eliminated the webcams. I got everything to work in the ATEM is the only way it works. Too many places to change things. All of my Zoom problems are based on having too many places to go wrong. So here, if you lift the skirt, the drawer is still there. And most of the things that are on the card go in the drawer, but the ancillary equipment expanded to be a full tub now. We can cover all kinds of situations with this. This is the right-hand side where the wiring is. You can see the battery box in here. These are the masts for the cameras and things, and this is the back of the ATEM that got added to it. This is a wire snub that you'll see more of in a minute. And this is a tray that catches coiled HDMI cords. So all the wires, all the cables that attach to this or go anywhere are snubbed in devices like this, so they can't be pulled out by being tripped on. And the cart's really a bit too heavy for it to be pulled over. That's how the battery looks. It's an Anker 521. It'll run the whole setup for a couple of hours. And when the electrical panel is plugged in, which we'll see in a minute, everything charges and it'll run it, of course, indefinitely. This is another cable snub over here. on the right side there, and that goes to a three-way HDMI splitter that takes the feed out from puts out all, this is where the video out goes, the video outputs. You can go to, and these cables can go to an external monitor or the external monitor on the cart, or to a large TV, which we're also going to have in the room. So this is the core of the setup. It's a MacBook. It has USB ports externally. It has the battery box, a power strip that plugs into the wall, and a second battery that charges ancillary gear, phones, and microphones as needed. See if I'm in the right place. Yeah. This is the operator side view with the cart back up in its correct position. So the cart has handles here and it has the monitor. When the back drops down, and this is the electrical panel, which has, here's the electrical in. This feeds the battery box. This also feeds the USB feeds for phones and microphones. And this is the Netgear hotspot, which can park here and charge, but in the actual situation, we'll slip it out of there and put it on the best windowsill in the room. So there's the video inputs diagram. There's a Canon Vixia second laptop that's going to bring in pictures and videos, and a mid-Atlantic video feed, and we have one available HDMI feed, which I'm probably going to use for a GoPro coming into the A10 Mini. And the audio inputs are host microphones and room mics, the CM1000 room mics as needed, or the speakerphone as needed. We can switch it as we need to. This is what the deck looks like without the laptop. As you can see, there's the ATEM, there's the wire snub. This is what the iPhone fits. There's the speakerphone in the back of the monitor. I think the main point here is the wires now go down through holes in the deck, and every single wire is labeled as to what it's for and where it goes, so that it's and going forward, if I keep doing this, I'm going to snub all the wires so they all are attached to the cart. What happened there? So they're all attached to the cart, and they don't they don't move. They stay on the cart. The gear goes in the drawer, the wires stay in place. That ought to work pretty good. There's the video outputs to a monitor or a big TV, and audio outputs to a speakerphone and to an iPhone. I use an iPhone both as a camera and as a sound monitor with headphones, so I can hear what the Zoom is hearing. The biggest problem I've had with all of these things is too many places for the audio to get mucked up. So this is the operator side of the cart as it actually is now. This handheld mic here is a Ceramonics wireless mic. This is the receiver for it. There's another little mic that I'll wear. We'll have a second operator and a second laptop calling into the Zoom. And here's the ATEM and the wire snub and the light that we're going to need for show and tell, and the video camera and the iPhone. So we're going to try and do. We're going to use this to do the meet and greet Friday night. We're going to do around the vendor room, and we're going to use breakout rooms with vendors. We're going to do the instant gallery with an instant gallery review, and then on Sunday we'll do the luncheon, and we'll just play with that and see what we can get. We think we can probably have people participate in the silent auction using breakout rooms as well. So here's back to the complete diagram just to wrap up here. This is the bottom down here where it says ops support includes the router, extra webcams as needed, the LED light as needed, and the headphones, and we can have video reporters out here. But I think the point is that you can also have any number of video cameras connected on tripods. And a couple days ago, we acquired and began to test an HDMI wireless repeater, which works like gangbusters. So now we can get video signal in and out of a cart without cables at all. On the other hand, each of the repeaters costs $120, so we're not going to have them. We only have one, and I don't think we're going to get another one anytime soon. But it's very, very good technology, and I was surprised at how well it worked. And that's my story. That's what I got.
All right, John, if you could kill the share.
Yeah, I got to find.
We can go back to a gallery view. We can see if we can find ourselves some questions. I was trying to understand if you use more than one Zoom channel there. With your camera and your iPhone.
No, it's the one Zoom call. The iPhone calls in just like just the same way as everybody else has. What that does is give the operator a window in the Zoom array that you can still switch cameras. You can get, in other words, picture beside picture.
Is that connected via the cell service or via a Wi-Fi connection?
It's a Wi-Fi to the cell service. In other words, the Netgear repeater looks at the picks up the cell phone signal. So we park the repeater in the best window.
But the answer is it is a cell signal. It's not.
It is a cell signal, yes. The alternative was to buy into the hotels. The hotel would have wired us for $900 for the day.
Rick, I think you're the next one up with your hand up.
Yeah, what wireless HDMI device were you using, John?
I can't remember what it's called. We bought one that has it says it has a 50-meter range. I'll be surprised if it has 20 feet. But it worked really well. We tried it with a GoPro, and we haven't tried the GoPro yet. We tried it with the Vixia. It worked very well from one end of my house to the other.
Okay, yeah, I've got one. I'll have it at Mid-Atlantic. The picture isn't great. It gets a fairly good distance, but I just wasn't totally happy with the picture. You'll see.
I haven't really evaluated that. It has a latency of a small bit of latency, which I decided didn't matter.
Yeah, that doesn't concern me as much as picture quality. They say it's a 1080 picture, but there's a lot of those pixels are not there.
Well, neither Zoom says 1082, but it isn't.
Ken Rist?
Hi, yes, thanks. I'm with the Nutmeg Woodturners League, and my question is to John, approximately how much did it cost to put that whole rig together?
Well, that's kind of hard to say. For one thing, my laptop was 10 years old this year, so I bought a new laptop. So there's a lot of bring your own and a lot of borrowed from the club.
Mm-hmm.
So with what I could borrow from the club and what I brought my own, I think I spent about $1,500. And just to put that in context, that's my own money. And because of health reasons, I haven't been able to work in the shop this year. So I basically spent my tool and wood budget on it and made this my hobby.
Okay.
Was that including the ATEM, John?
ATEM's borrowed from the club.
Okay.
And John, would you be able to provide, more of a detailed list possibly in terms of the different items?
Yes.
That would be great. All right, thank you.
Alan Gannick?
And just asked my question. I wanted to see if we could get a detailed list of the components so that we can research it. So thank you very much, John. I appreciate it.
Great. Steve Hansen?
Hi. The cell phone is being used sort of as a confidence monitor for the AV operator. Is that correct?
Yeah, AV sound. Cell phone's being used as a camera. In some situations, the cell phone is a good camera on the operator. You can switch it to look at the person you're talking to, and it gives you a window in the Zoom alongside whatever camera you're bringing in from the ATEM. So that's the reason for it. But what I learned as a side benefit, it allows you to monitor the sound the ATEM's getting. I wear bone conduction headphones, these aftershocks, or I tried it with AirPods, Apple AirPods too, and it works pretty well. So you're always out of phase with the sound in the room, but all you're looking for is to make sure there is audio and that the volume's adequate.
All right, good.
Anybody else? I see another hand there.
Oh, yes. Pete.
Yeah, I was curious. You mentioned HDMI, I think a Bluetooth repeater. Is there a delay in that? And do you run into issues with, live feed and maybe a slight delay?
They say the delay is 0.1 second. I think it is at least that. And I just decided I don't care about that. There's some things you just can't fix in these setups.
All right, I think we have exhausted the questions. I'm really looking forward to seeing this thing in action in a couple of days. So
yeah, and if anybody would like to join us and help participate in making this Mid-Atlantic thing into fun, please do. MAWTS.com to register. And
thank you.
I'll take my hand down and hand it back to you, Bruce. Okay, Mid-Atlantic. We went there with a Zoom cart and attempted to establish a Zoom presence. We were partly successful and partly unsuccessful. David Delo was on the Zoom call. He might have more or less to say about it.
We did sort of TV broadcast from the opening reception and the Sunday luncheon. And on Saturday morning, Bowman and our friend Ella did a great job of going around the vendors and seeing what they had in their booths and showing it all. Saturday afternoon, we were unable to get on due to I didn't understand Wi-Fi hotspots well enough is the short answer. And we got AT&T throttled us down to nothing. But I threw money at it overnight and got back online for Sunday morning. So that's the short story from my end. Would I do it again? Maybe. A couple of days ago, I would have said no for sure, but that's nothing to do with the event. The event was great. Mid-Atlantic was a ton of fun. I learned some things about my own health and my own state of what I can and can't do at this point in my life. And so I probably wouldn't take on something as stressful as that again. We haven't put any videos out publicly yet, and we won't for a little bit. I got to do a bunch of editing. We ended up with 45 gigabytes of material. It's a lot to sift through. Bowman's making a heroic job of putting together the video from the instant gallery. And the only problem with it, it's way longer than anybody's probably actually going to watch. So we're going to have to do a very careful, judicious little edit through it to make it watchable. Which we're going to do next week. And then the rest of it we'll make into, I don't know, at least a show about what we did and how it went. And I haven't spoken with Mid-Atlantic about whether they want a promo video or not yet, but we certainly have the footage for that as well. So after that, who else was at Mid-Atlantic? Anything you want to say about it? Dilo, I see you there. Well, you were on the Zoom.
Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it, except for Saturday. But I'll catch it on the flip side, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, you will. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was well worth it.
Did it make you wish you'd gone in person?
No.
How about that? Okay.
Here's the deal, John. For me, anyway, being in Pittsburgh, $25 versus probably $1,000 to go there. Okay.
But you didn't get any demos. We didn't give you any demos.
Yeah. That's the downside.
Yeah, that was the offer that we could make. We would have given you demos if we could have, but it was not something that Mid-Atlantic felt was appropriate given their financial structure with the convention center, and I fully understand that.
Yeah.
So maybe at another time and place. I want to say also, the attendance was good. They had 180 in person plus a bunch of spouses. We had a 20 on the Zoom list, and probably 16 was the maximum we had online at any one time. The other thing that was really a lot of fun for me, anyhow, was coffee hours attracted people from all over the place. And there's a group of about a half a dozen guys in the middle of Long Island who never fail to watch the videos. You never see them on here. They never come to a club meeting, but they watch the videos. They came to the Mid-Atlantic and they wanted to take selfies with me and Barry. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Anybody else on Mid-Atlantic?
I enjoyed it from over here.
Were you on as well? Don was on, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Enjoyed that.
Hey, I got
Bruce Lamb, who's on here, won the best in show in the instant gallery.
Yes.
How was the weekend for you, Bruce? You were there.
That was a bit of a shock to me, but I think it was fun to meet everybody, except for maybe Jim. But otherwise,
Excuse me, Bruce. I'm just erasing all the footage from you. So.
Jim was like in my face, it seemed like all the time. And by the time we got to the luncheon, it was, oh, here's Bruce Lamb again, is what I heard on him. Hey, the one problem with the way, and I thought it was really nice and professional the way you did going around with the phone, but that prevented the two-way communication with the other folks that were online, obviously. So that I felt was kind of a shortcoming about the way that was done. But otherwise, it was terrific how you did it.
Well, what I would do about that if I were to do it again or recommend others to do is you have to set up an occasion where you're going to communicate across the Zoom. You can't, if we just brought the sound of the big TV into the room, it would have been chaos. And we wanted to do that in the instant gallery, and you would be able to do that in the question period following a demo. Let's hear from the Zoomists and bring the sound into the room. But otherwise, we haven't really found a good way to do that. We thought we'd use breakout rooms, but that was like, I guess you'd need another technician to manage that. It was like more than I could get my head around it to set up breakout rooms and then help people into them. We thought we could make it happen, but we weren't good enough.
But I couldn't see you marching the cart around the luncheon. That just wouldn't have worked either. So
no. No, that didn't.
I'm
We
not
had
sure
a
what
park.
the answer is, but I know when he asked me a few questions, I would have liked to talk to other folks too, and you
Well,
just couldn't do that.
Well, the way we would be able to do that at another event is with better Wi-Fi and better internet connection. We could not establish a stable Zoom window to the roving reporter because our Wi-Fi and phone connection in the banquet room wasn't good enough. So in a future event, what you'd do is bring in the internet via Ethernet wire, and then set up a router so you had your own Wi-Fi bubble inside the room. And then you could do roving reporter on the phone and have a screen in the Zoom and talk to the people on the Zoom, and it could be a lot of fun.
Sure.
It was like wood turning. The
You learn stuff.
experiences teach you a lot. So actually, the learning for me was those little iPhones are just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
After John and I shot with just our iPhones, the instant gallery, and I'm editing them up like I would have done in the professional days.
Oh,
and
no. I shot some video yesterday on the lathe, and it's amazing. I was using 2.5 times magnification, and it's outstanding.
Yeah.
The main lesson from a Zoomist point of view, a Zoom management point of view, is simplify the gear as much as possible. Get gear that works no matter how odd it may seem, and don't fool around with stuff that's flaky because it will kill you in the middle of trying to do a live Zoom. Kai, you were online. What did you think?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I enjoyed it a lot. It's great what technology makes possible, being in Germany and being part of a wood turning conference in Britain. No, sorry, in the States. So that's a great experience that I normally wouldn't have if Zoom wasn't there. So thanks a lot to you, John, and I think in future we will get a lot more coverage using this kind of technology, and it makes participation possible around the world. So that's a great thing, and then I enjoyed it. It was like being there. So great.
Yeah, I agree with Kai. I agree with Kai.
Kai, I would love to attend some of your stuff over there, but the language barrier for me is a problem because I don't do as well as you do with English.
It's no problem watching people turn. You can see what they're doing.
Yeah, but I want to hear how they're doing it. So
yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, John, I'm one of those Long Islanders with the selfies, but it was a fantastic symposium. And it was, most people don't know me because I watch this religiously on YouTube, but I'm almost familiar with everybody that's on the screen. And it was just wonderful meeting everybody. And hats off to that symposium. It was fantastic.
It's a great symposium, that's for sure.
We'll be back next year.
Anybody else?
Wood shop. Thank God for wood.